No meaningful governance can take place in a chaotic society and in the absence of peace, let alone development. It is therefore not surprising the United Nations explains that peace is not just absence of war, and it cannot be declared solely through treaties, but it must be nurtured through dignity, well-being, rights and capacities of every man and woman, and indeed every child, to interact freely with others, devoid of intimidation. Peace means access to education, health, food, and especially essential services, giving every human being the chance to live as they choose, develop and pursue happiness in a legitimate manner, while respecting the rights of others on the basis of tolerance, mutual understanding, and respect. In the larger Nigerian society, especially in very recent times, administration after administration have battled to put an end to the rising spate of insecurity, giving verve to kidnappings and other vices inimical to the much desired peace needed for quality governance and development. Unfortunately, the results have been dismal.
This restiveness can cause a lot of dislocation in the society, and there is no development that takes place without peace. So I think it is very important to tell the people to live peacefully with one another. It's very, very important for the welfare of the society and for the development that will result.
Unemployment is high, and because of that, people can't take care of themselves, and before you know, they go into crime. And they can easily pass in the society because you don't know them, policing is poor, the security situation is poor.
After the rains comes the rainbow, as they say, giving hope of a brighter horizon. This has been the case in Delta State, South Nigeria, where Senator Dr. Arthur Ifeanyi holds the reins of governance. Confronted with similar challenges that crippled the finances of the state, that made governance and development extremely difficult, if not impossible, he sent an executive bill to the State House of Assembly setting up the Delta State Advisory and Peace Building Council with a charge to identify the causes of conflict among its communities and advise it on appropriate peace-building mechanisms.
The governor is such a committed person. He knows the role of peace in progress and in development. I tell you from what I know and what we have been involved in, that is very, very concerned about peace and the building of peace, not only within the communities but between communities. I tell you that my council, the advisory council that helps the governor, have dealt with a number of intercommunal and intra-communal peace processes.
With the Professor Oyewere Advisory Council of Peace working with results coming in, Governor Kowa would take no chances, following his determination to succeed based on his promise to do things differently to bring prosperity to all Deltans. He followed up with the inauguration of another 9-man advocacy committee against vandalism of oil and gas facilities, this time headed by the Deputy Governor Kingsley Otuaro. His committee went into the creeks preaching peace to the aggrieved oil-bearing communities. Today, there are tangible and verifiable results as the spate of bombings of critical oil and gas facilities has ceased and peace restored in the creeks and all the oil-bearing communities.
All we did was to advocate and engage critical sections of our people through constructive engagement. We can have stakeholders who listen to us. Because we are inseparable with our people, they had cause to listen to us, and by God's grace, we're able to restore peace.
The crisis that is here, he has made it possible for it to be calm, and he has done all he can to make it possible that there is peace in the community. In this local government, we don't have any crisis.
The sustainable peace achieved in the creeks and riverine communities of Delta State has resulted in substantial increase in oil revenues, which is the most dominant contributor to the national treasury, and Delta State is better for it.
There's no more restlessness in rural areas, and this has created an enabling environment for the oil and gas companies operating in Delta State, especially the riverine areas, to operate peacefully. As a result, the contribution of oil to our finances in this state has remarkably improved, and this has made more money available for development.
When he took over power, there are a lot of oil blasts in communities. It took Delta State almost 8 to 9 months for him to put in place. And since then, I can testify that there is nothing like blasts in Delta State. So the oil price has increased by the grace of God. So the oil community, if not for the piece of security has put in place, all these things wouldn't have been possible.
The oil-bearing communities are at the epicenter of Delta State's economic prosperity. Thus, it is only logical they are well catered for to bring about the much-desired peace for the states to continue to prosper. Governor OKOWAS, not oblivious of this fact, sent an executive bill to the state legislature to rejig and reposition for more effectiveness the existing Delta State Oil Producing Areas Development Commission DESOPADEC, which has the mandate to carry out the government's vision of developing the oil-bearing communities.
We are project-driven. We have been able to establish that we know what our people need. Let us focus on what our people need. We're able to establish that this DESOPADEC is set up to meet some certain objectives, and we focus on those objectives, not on ourselves, on achieving those objectives. Then we have achieved a lot.
DESOPADEC, as of today, we make it as a point of duty to ensure that all component parts of our mandate area, which is majorly where the oil is coming from, are all involved in our budgeting system, bringing the projects to their doorstep, and that is because it's so directed us to go that way so as to bring the people in. Let them be involved in governance. Let them be involved in the selection of what should be done for them. Because when they own this project, they protect them. And this has engendered a lot of peace. And that is why you say that the good people of Delta State gave him a resounding victory.
Another key factor the OKOWAS-led administration has deployed to ensure a more peaceful Delta State is the recognition and regular interface of the government and traditional fathers. The royal fathers are closest to the grassroots, and they have helped to identify and flush out miscreants in their domains.
We engaged the traditional rulers, we engaged the religious class, we began to engage the youths, even the former agitators that they prefer to be called rather than ex-militants. They made them realize that we can do it together. You just have to be able to provide peace for us to have development. And it's only when there is peace that you have more investment and more people can get engaged.
The government has really tried for us, for making us to live the amnesty level and for making us to live a better life.
In his wisdom, he decided to partner with royal fathers so that there could be even development in the state. And as you can see, a lot has been achieved. Because when you talk of communities, these are the areas that are manned by the royal fathers at the local government level. For some time, you will notice that most of the plans and the programs of government gets to the grassroots through the sensitization and advocacies of the royal fathers.
The state government has also collaborated with the legislature to make laws that will engender peace and development in the state.
We have a governor who is smart, who is working. We are partnering together. Look at within now 3.5 years, see what we achieved. And you can see that during this election, we didn't have any problem, we didn't have any stress. Why do we not have stress? It's not about how we have campaigned, but because of what we have done. It shows that the governor has done very well, and we have done very well. So we are happy with him, and we are happy working with him.
Where there is no equitable sharing of state resources, peace may be threatened. Governor OKOWAS, being a just man, has ensured that developments are evenly spread to all the 3 senatorial districts of the state. This is evident in the roads infrastructure developments everywhere, including the riverine areas that have suffered neglect over the years under the pretext that the terrain is difficult. Governor OKOWAS has proven that this is not true. His administration has built the greatest number of roads ever in these areas.
Before 1999 till 2015, we have not had any road constructed in the riverine communities of Delta. No one road. But today I can tell you that if you go to Oporoza in Baramatu Kingdom, there is a road. If you go to Ekerenkoko, if you go to my village, Sokibolo, Yokri, Obotobo 1 and 2, there is a road of 19.7 kilometers. If you go to Ogulaha, there is a road. If you go to Burutu town, which is the headquarters of my local government, there is a road. Several. These things are not, they are not politics. Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa is God sent to us as riverine people.
Education facilities, health, and many others now dot the landscape of every tribe to the joy of all.
We testify. If you go to our places now, you can see, go to schools, you see exactly the projects that are going on, renovations that are going on in most of the primary schools and secondary schools. You see roadside and drainages are going on everywhere, and everybody knows that OKOWAS is working.
This is the first time that almost every ward, in terms of project, they are spread of roads, schools, health, infrastructure, human capital development, arising from the fact that for the first time a governor have decided to improve the skill sets of Deltans.
In the area of strategic wealth creation through the government policies, created YAGEP, STEP, JEEP, PPSP, these programs that on daily basis keep thousands of young Deltans busy in every corner of the state while putting money in their pockets in different vocations have gone a long way in building a more peaceful and united Delta, as hands and minds are no longer idle, rendering the proverbial devil's workshop redundant with nothing to do.
With the YAGEP program and the STEP program, His Excellency has been able to use skill acquisition program to deplete the number of youths in the street who ordinarily would have been troublemakers. And that is why you can see that peace is gradually returning to the whole of Delta State.
What OKOWAS has done is something that has given us peace. Because most of these youths that were hitherto very, very agitative, most of them have been picked out, most of them have been empowered, most of them have been trained. So that come, I must be truthful. My community have gained so much because my nominees have also gained from it. So we appreciate.
Closely related to this is the Delta State's investment in skills acquisition for her people. Thousands of young people and others in their middle ages who would have been roaming the streets and getting into all kinds of mischief are in government-sponsored and equipped skills acquisition and vocation centers across the state, learning and acquiring skills to better their lot.
I have this esteem that I know that one day after learning this thing, someone will give me a contract to warehouse. All these skills I acquired in this vocational center here. I'm today making money in Delta State here. I want to say very, very, very big thanks to OKOWAS and the Delta State.
You know, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. By empowering the youths, it's making them self-fulfilling. They are able to make a living instead of just going about like rascals, dogs. So in that respect, it's been wonderful.
Furthermore, Governor OKOWAS' sense of justice has propelled him to spread political appointments to the extent that every tribe is represented on the decision-making table, giving them a greater voice in governance. No one feels left behind, and this singular action has bonded the people better as they see themselves first as Deltans and not Urobo, Ijo, Ishekiri or Anyoma as the case may be.
We already have a peace builder as our leader. The creation of Delta State in itself with 5 different ethnic groups makes Delta a melting pot of culture, that everybody with their own culture coming together. But at the last election, you will see that every ethnic group rallied around one candidate, which is Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa. You see that he won in virtually all the central districts, meaning that we are coming together more united in Delta State, which will be a better stepping stone towards greater things to come for us.
Justice is for all, irrespective of circumstances of birth. This has boded well for Deltans, as everyone lives and operates under the rule of law. This has ensured peace as the state government carried out judicial reforms, giving all a sense of justice.
Smart Delta.
Hey, welcome to Delta. Governor where they want.
Hi, my name is Fretless and I live in Asaba, capital city of Delta State. As an entertainer, my job entails a lot of movement from one place to the other and also to be at the right place at the right time, meaning that I need good roads to be able to meet up with work or appointments. And with the new government reform on construction and rehabilitation of all major and feeder roads in the state as part of a smart agenda, it has become so easy for me to move around at all times. Now, I just cruise from street to street, city to city, all over the state. And even apart from the roads as I move along daily, I see magnificent projects everywhere. Check out this one in Warri and several other places. Wow. Governor OKOWAS is indeed a man with a vision.
Come see empowerment through the step and the again. Your joy education and sports development. That's why Delta not they carry last at all. Who they bring peace? The communities and the creeks. Even storm drainage to carry water to the river. What of healthcare, housing and agriculture. Prosperity from payment of salaries. The people they happy with OKOWAS. Not the tire. Every day he they work, even job creation, water provision. Everything correct with OKOWAS.
One of the many benefits a more peaceful and united Delta State is drawing from is investor confidence. Everyone wants to put their money where their mouth is, and a peaceful Delta is inviting and beckoning to investors to bring businesses to the state, as the environment is now peaceful and serene for businesses to thrive.
When you have sustainable peace, it is accompanied by interest in you, and that's what investment is all about. People who are investing here are investing to stay, to prosper. So if there's no peace, your investment will be meaningless.
Having a peaceful environment is key to every nation, community, state, and any city. And having such environment gives you investments. People from all walks of life will come into the state for their investment and for tourism.
Through the Directorate of Rural Development, Peace Building and Conflict Resolution, headed by Chief Edwin Uzo JP, it has shown unwavering commitment to ensuring that the M in the SMART agenda of Governor OKOWAS, that is, meaningful peace-building platforms aimed at political and social harmony, is deployed maximally.
We work in line with the directive of the governor, more especially on how to stabilize the state for peaceful coexistence. And I can authoritatively tell you that the state is stable and that the state is in a peaceful atmosphere around the 25 local governments of the state.
The office constantly evaluates and appraises the government on progress made in ensuring rural and grassroots development in the area of infrastructure, peace building, and conflict resolutions. Furthermore, it has served as a link to bridge the gap between the government and the governed, as they provide sound advice to improve on government policies and programs to the benefit of the people, while on the other hand, carrying out campaigns of these policies.
The successes we've recorded in this department is as a result of the support and the encouragement by His Excellency Senator Dr. Vanya OKOWAS, because it gave us a good enablement to operate.
So far, no fewer than 220 cases have been treated, out of which 85% of them have been resolved successfully, while the remaining are still ongoing. Persons and communities who are involved in these cases have exhibited a sense of relief and satisfaction in the manner with which a solution was achieved. The case of two warring communities in Ndokwa East local government area readily comes to mind. Obomauchi and Obechauchi, with a sizable population, located in a serene environment close to one of the tributaries to the River Niger. With their major occupation of farming and fishing, the two communities have lived together peacefully in the past 40 years. But suddenly, crisis broke out 3 years ago. The Directorate immediately waded into the matter.
The Opaluku cannot go to war. It's we, me and you. I mean, so I'm pleading that we should be calm. There is no need for that worry.
Ijoma Nwoka, Diana Enusika, Mabel Odogu, and other members of the community narrate their ordeal.
When government intervene and carry some security here and give us, we just advise the whole community. We still keeping peace in the community. And since that time, we have not have any report that Obama has go there to intervene for what happened. So there is peace till today. So we are happy what is happening.
I am grateful to the government for coming to our rescue. The intervention helped to stop the fight. Today we have embraced peace and we are grateful to the authorities. It is good that the government stepped in. Now we have confidence to live peacefully.
After several visits to the area to resolve the conflict, relative peace was restored, and Smart Delta crew, led by the chairman of the Directorate, Chief Edwin Uzo, and his team, embarked on a 3-hour drive on both land and sea to bring reports of these success stories. The team met with stakeholders. They visited the traditional rulers of both communities and were warmly welcomed. Thereafter, they were taken around the affected areas. Today, the warring communities are commending the state government for coming to their rescue.
There is no meaningful development that will come to our communities in the absence of peace. And that is why we in Obesha decided that we are going to embrace peace in its totality.
Having seen the effort of the governor, that shows that he is a man that loves mankind. Because if you cannot keep life, how would you live? We have accepted his peace that he has initiated in our own domain. We are so much delighted.
In another scenario, the crisis that ensued between traders in Ogbijo market and the Ijaw youth immediately got the ears of the government before it escalated. The Peace and Conflict Resolution came to their aid and calmed the warring parties.
Before we go build, we go pay 2,000 for set. Another set go cost 6,000, so 4,000. We say we don't go pay that. With even since our land is good too. Now even this month we see the entire so. Now my boss I nobody will not go market. I need to say suffer dey good today.
Wetin make they work on this?
Yes sir.
Now how this go be?
Yes sir.
So that everybody go live like one brother and sister.
To this end, the Directorate of Peace and Conflict Resolution organized a 3-day community leadership and stakeholders workshop with the theme Violent Conflict Prevention, Resolution and Community Stability at different times across the 3 senatorial districts. This has helped to continuously engage the people meaningfully. This and other strategies have been put in place to address threats to peace and security and tackle the sources which bred and encouraged insecurity, breached peace and threatened human lives.
I say a capital no to violent community conflict.
I say a capital no to violent community conflict.
It is heartwarming also that the emerging and horrible incursion of suspected herdsmen which threatened the livelihood of the people in recent times has also been curbed to the barest minimum. This was through a consultative forum between farmers and herdsmen where multi-pronged approaches were adopted and the results are evident.
He has not had the feeling that herdsmen should be chased away, but there should be peaceful coexistence. He had several troubleshooting meetings between herdsmen, farmers, stakeholders, and the indigents of the various local governments so that peace reigns continuously.
One thing His Excellency has done, which has helped a lot,
is initiating dialogues and also appointing persons who are competent. We have an SA who is a Fulani extraction, and they've done very well, moving from place to place. Then he has also instructed that local government councils should have committees to deal with these issues. So once they arise and they are aware, these committees move in quickly. So that has helped tremendously.
Issues of security are never treated with kids' gloves. As such, the governor has provided effective support to all security agencies with modern-day gadgets, vehicles, and training to arm them with intelligence combat. Community policing, like Vigilante, has been giving a boost as the governor has given adequate attention and support, working in collaboration with these agencies. This has entrenched a harmonious relationship amongst the various operatives. There is no doubt that better days are already here as the Governor Ifeanyi Okowa-led administration is poised on building a stronger Delta that is more peaceful and strongly united.
Come to Delta State, come and see the good things where OKOWAS they do. You better run, come to Delta State, come and see the good things where OKOWAS they do. I see a job and work creation in Delta, make the youth say them higher. OKOWAS, I see good roads everywhere in Delta, make the people say them cola. Come live in Delta, say me I say, come invest in Delta. Come explore the potentials of our state.